Hey, School Zone podcast listeners. Matt coming at you from here in Stephenville, Texas, EIEIO, the home of the School Zone School Fundraising Ideas podcast. We have a two-peat today. One of the guys that I've gotten to know pretty well here over the last few years as we're outgrowing our school fundraising companies and our franchises, Jeremy Barnhart of Apex Fun Run. Jeremy, how long have we known each other now?
That's a good question. I don't know, 3 years maybe? Has it been that long?
Yeah, I think it's probably around 3 years, maybe 3.5.
Yeah.
Started rubbing shoulders at different PTA events and that type of thing. And then next thing you know, I run into Jeremy and his team in Las Vegas. What was it, last January or
That's
February?
Right. I forgot we did run each other at the airport there, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I love what these guys do, and I wanted Jeremy to come back on just to give everybody an update. And for those of you guys that aren't familiar with Apex, to give you an opportunity to get to know them to begin with, but then also have a chance to share a little bit about some of their successes and some of the new programs that they've rolled out. What I love about these guys, and we'll get into it more here in a minute, is the fact that they come in and not only help you raise a ton of money for your school in a healthy and fun way for your kids, but they're also teaching character and values and those types of things as part of their program. So it's not just about raising money. And so unlike a lot of other entities out there that might just be about the money piece, these guys bring so much more to the table and provide so much more value for your school and for your kids. So Jeremy, why don't you give everybody a little bit of backstory, where Apex came from, how you got started in all this, and then we'll launch from there.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks again for having me, Matt. So we really started Apex Fun Run out of a combination of need and passion. The need side, as you and your listeners know, is the fact that fundraising has kind of been a necessary evil for schools and teams and organizations all over America, and always has been, always will be. And so there's been budget cuts in schools all over America that have forced them to eliminate physical education programs, eliminate music programs. There are even schools around the country only go to school 4 days a week because they can't even afford to open the doors that fifth day. And so we saw there was really a huge need there. The passion side comes out of the fact that we've had deep-rooted passions for education and fitness. My father taught outside of Chicago for 43 years. My business partner Scott's dad was a principal in Seattle, Washington. His wife Amy's a first-grade teacher. So we've got a lot of passion for teachers and education, and it really came out of a need for Scott's wife as a teacher who was spending $400 or $500 out of her pocket every year for supplies, and the school couldn't afford to provide them for her. On my side, my wife became the PTO fundraising chair at my three sons' schools years ago, and they really needed money, but she was tired of doing product-based fundraisers. She didn't want to sell cookie dough or candy bars. She wanted something that was healthy and fitness-focused. And so we really looked at the industry and saw there was a huge need and focused on three things. The first was the fact that we wanted a program that actually helped teachers. Most of those product-based fundraisers don't really benefit teachers. And so with Apex Fun Run, teachers get to keep 10% of what's raised in their classroom. So they're actually getting reimbursed for some supplies, and they support and endorse our program all over America because of that. The second thing we wanted was a program that actually benefited students. With product-based fundraisers, students are forced to either be doing door-to-door sales, which isn't terribly safe in most parts of the country, or more likely than not, mom and dad are taking that order form to the office and pawning it off on their coworkers. But either way, it's not a real benefit to the students. So with Apex Fun Run, we created a program where we're teaching students, as you mentioned, Matt, leadership and fitness skills, things that will hopefully benefit them for a lifetime. And every year we have a new curriculum with character and fitness-based lessons that really make a huge impact on kids all over America. We're really blessed to get letters and emails from parents that have you and your listeners in tears very quickly because of the positive impact we've had on their children, because we're letting them know that they matter. that they have value, that they can do anything they set their mind to. And even at their age, they can be leaders in their homes and their schools and their communities. And we can get into later some of those lessons and how those work, but it's really powerful. The third thing we wanted to change in the industry was the money side of things. Most of those product-based fundraisers don't raise a lot of money for schools and teams because they get such a small percentage. Typical product-based fundraisers, the school only gets maybe 20 or 30% of the money, even though they're doing all the work. And so we created programs that now allow our schools and organizations to get anywhere from 52 to 77% of the money, depending on which of our programs that they accept. And the average elementary school that we serve across the country right now nets about $22,000 from our fundraiser, which is usually double or triple what they've ever raised before. And as Matt and I talked before the session, we've had some schools over the years that raise over $100,000, and just had a school that did it for the 6th year in a row. So we really kind of went after fixing the industry with those 3 solutions. And we now have 5 programs for our franchisees that allow them to be a one-stop shop in their community. They have programs for elementary schools, middle schools, high school teams, local charities, those club sports teams that are looking to raise money. And our franchisees love what they do. They make a positive impact on their community while also making a living at the same time.
So talk a little bit about let's talk first off on the teacher portion, since you mentioned that first. Mm-hmm. That's a differentiator, isn't it? Aren't you guys? I'm not familiar with any other company that works at the teacher level like that.
Yeah, I don't think there is. As far as I know, we're the only ones who give back to teachers like that. And the goal was to really help teachers. They're building leaders in the classrooms, and so we look to really support them in their efforts. When we teach the leadership and fitness lessons, we're teaching the kids that their teachers are leaders and that they're helping them develop lifelong skills and knowledge, and that they need to support their teachers and help their teachers and make their lives easier. And so because of our programs, teachers will tell you that when Apex Fun Run is on a campus, they have less disciplinary actions than normal, and they have higher attendance than normal because the kids want to see the Apex team. But we wanted to be able to make a financial difference as well, because of the fact that those teachers don't get paid very much, and they're so passionate about what they do that they come out of pocket to buy supplies. And so by creating this program to allow them to keep 10% of what's raised makes a huge impact to them. And as you can imagine, it's a top-down approach. If the teacher in the classroom is excited and engaged and supportive of the fundraiser and the way the program goes, then the children are going to be excited as well. And then the children go home excited, and the parents start to learn more, and they can go on our website and learn about everything we're doing, and they really engage and support the program unlike any other.
So did you guys do this from the beginning with the teachers in mind, or is that something you brought in later?
Nope, that was one of the 3 core pieces of the business when we started it with our first program.
So in other words, you don't have any way to even compare it to something before. That's just the way you always have done it.
Yeah, we can tell you, though, that the teachers have given us such positive feedback, because when they've done those product-based fundraisers, teachers despise those. They end up handing out order forms and collecting order forms and distributing product and collecting money and doing all this work really for no benefit to themselves. It's just a burden to them. And so we bring in our fundraiser as a hassle-free fundraiser, where we do all the work, provide a lot of benefit, and raise them double or triple what they had before, while giving a direct benefit to the teachers.
So talk about the leadership aspect and the fitness. I mean, the fitness aspect is kind of obvious, but talk about the leadership aspect and your team and how you guys draw from athletes, et cetera, in the community, and them working with the kids, et cetera.
Sure. So our franchisees hire local athletes to serve schools, and those are typically 21 to 30-year-old recent college graduates who wanted to be teachers, coaches, fitness instructors. And the bottom line is they have a high energy, great personalities, and they're positive role models. So when they go onto a campus, we train them on how to do our program. And throughout the program, they're teaching leadership lessons each day of the program. And each year, it's a whole different theme. So this year, our theme is actually Apex United, which is sort of ironic with where our world is today. We build our lessons and our plans a year in advance. And so no one would have really known that going into this school year how important being united really is in our world. And so our theme this year is Apex United. We want kids in the world to unite. And our lessons are then based on the acronym of the word united. So on the U Day, we teach kids that that everyone is unique, that we all have our own unique talents and abilities, and that it's great to be unique. That if everybody were the same, the world would be lame. And so to really embrace their uniqueness and everyone's uniqueness. On the second day, with the end day, we teach them to have no excuses. That there are reasons why things don't work out, but don't use excuses. The good leaders don't use excuses. They find ways to accomplish things and learn and grow, and that you don't want to use excuses. On the I Day is kind of our anti-bullying theme of the year, which we have every year. The I Day is inspire others to really build up people around you and find their strengths as opposed to bullying and bringing them down. That it's much more powerful to inspire the people around you. On the T Day, we teach the lesson is based on the fact that good leaders are teachable, that you're learning throughout your entire life. It never stops, that there are people who are in their 80s and 90s and they'll still tell you that they learn every single day, and that it's important to be teachable, to let your teacher really guide you and to listen well and to be teachable. On the E Day, we throw a really crazy word towards the kids where we teach them that good leaders are empathetic. Now, that's a big word for elementary school kids, but we teach them that being empathetic is important, to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to try to take their perspective, to understand that everyone is unique and different, and that you have to really think about how you're going to make someone else feel or how they feel based on what's going on in their life, and to be more understanding and supportive. And then on the D Day, it's do your best. That all you can do is your own best. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just focus on doing your very best. And at the end of the day, hopefully they then become united leaders. And as you know, Matt, every year, this is our 7th school year serving schools around America, and every year has been a completely different theme with unique character and fitness-based lessons that parents love, teachers love, and the students really retain.
Man, that's cool. So is this, as far as the teaching of the kids, how long a period does this last around the fun run? And is this like a daily thing where it's like 5 days in a row, or is this, one week over several weeks, or, how does all that work?
Great question. So our elementary school programs are a 2-week program. So the athletes are on campus all day, every day for that 2 weeks. They're in the classrooms each day for just 8 to 10 minutes. So it's a short brain break, really focused, and then they get the attention of the students back on their teacher before they leave the classroom, so that we may get the kids excited and fired up while they're in there, but that then get them kind of calmed down and refocused on their teachers so that they're good listeners and they're well behaved. And so teachers and administrators love that, the amount of time that we're there. And many times they wish we were there longer because of the impact we have. We train the athletes to really be good presenters, to whether it's a kindergartner where they're going to get down low at their level and maybe different intonations of their voice, versus having a lesson that they go to maybe a middle schooler where they've got to be a little bit more cool and hip because they want to be treated like young adults. And so we train them on how to really interact with each of the age groups. When they're not in the classrooms, they're reinforcing the leadership and fitness lessons during recess and PE, where they're maybe playing football, basketball, baseball, soccer with the kids, showing them how, good leaders have a positive attitude on the field, or good leaders put others first by passing the basketball or passing a soccer ball. And they really, really engage with those kids. They learn their names. They make a great impact over that 2 weeks they're on their campus.
That's cool. And then, of course, they can be cheerleaders for the kids during that 2 weeks that they're out, raising money for the run as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really our live program, which was our first program for elementary schools, is really about 50% leadership and fitness and 50% fundraising. Now, we always tell our franchisees and our teams, if that pendulum swings too far one way or the other, it really gets off. And so we want them to focus on both pieces of it. So the leadership and fitness is fun. And then the fundraising side is really technology driven, and the fact that every participant in our fundraisers gets a unique access code to log into our site with. When they log into the site with that unique access code, it then prompts them to create their own page on our site. Once they've created that page, they can customize it with their own pictures, their own videos, and then we have a share wizard technology that allows them from that site to send out emails, text messages, Facebook and Twitter messages to their friends and family all over the world, explaining that they're having an Apex Fun Run at their school and would they please pledge them per lap. It explains they're going to run between 26 and 36 laps. That way the sponsor knows their maximum exposure when they're making that per lap donation. And the pledges are then logged in and accumulated on the back end of the website for prize purposes and money raised purposes. But because of that technology, it allows schools to raise money from previously untapped sources. You know, if you're there in Texas, but grandma and grandpa are retired in Florida, grandma and grandpa probably aren't going to buy cookie dough. You're not going to go to a fall festival or another rubber chicken auction dinner, you know, to buy another autographed jersey or a ball. But with our technology, they can pledge and support their grandchildren with a positive activity-based fundraiser. And so at the elementary school level, it's a fun run. As kids get older and even into adulthood, it changes. We've got our Anython model that allows high school teams to do Anython. So we've got high school basketball teams doing free throw-a-thons, getting pledges per made free throw. Football teams doing punt, pass, and kick-a-thons, getting pledges per yard. Wrestling teams doing push-up-a-thons, getting pledges per push-up. Anything and everything can be done as an Anython and utilizing that same technology so that, again, it's all activity-based fundraisers. It's fun. It's active. It's not just selling a product or putting your hand out asking for money. It's all really very community-based, and it brings the world as part of your community because of that technology.
Have you guys been employing that technology for all 7 years, Jeremy? Or, I mean, because that's revolutionary. I mean, it's normal in a lot of ways today, as quickly as technology is changing. But has that been part of the platform from the beginning, or?
No, we actually developed that technology. Well, I guess it's been probably three or maybe 4 years ago. We spent a few years and a lot of money building new sites for both Apex Fun Run and Anython, and incorporating that technology to make it very easy for people to use technology to get to raise the money. And, you know, as you can imagine with Facebook links, it's 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon. You know, I mean, you've got so many friends and family all over the world, and it's so easy because they get a link, they click on the link, takes them right into that student or participant's page. They can see the story about what they're raising money for. They can see a picture or a video of the child or the person raising the money and see what they're doing, and easily put in that pledge, pre-authorize their credit card if it's a per unit based pledge, or if it's a flat donation, put in the credit card. Money goes directly to the school's bank account or directly to the team's bank account. And it just makes it really easy and fun and interactive. And with the technology, they have the ability to give those sponsors constant updates. They can put in pictures from the event, videos from the event, send out thank yous to them. And it makes it a really great interactive process so that the sponsor, even if they're on the other side of the country, feels like they were part of the program.
That's a game changer. That's a game changer. Guys, the leverage that the platform that Jeremy and his team has created is a game changer. Because, like he said, hassle-free, allowing that technology, and then the creativity that many kids and adults are already employing on social media every day anyway. It's just taking advantage of that trend and then leveraging the technology that's available today in order to make this as pain-free as possible for everybody, but also to create an echo chamber where, like he said, people from literally all over the world can be supporting XYZ elementary school because of the power of technology. That's cool. That is really, really, really cool.
And we really saw a big jump once we introduced that technology. And at this point, we see that about 70% of what's raised for a team or a school is from out of state, previously untapped sources because of that technology. You know, if you did your traditional fundraisers, you're basically hitting up your same local friends and family and neighbors all the time. And this really allows you to sort of spread that to friends and family who want to support other people and love the fact that it's a good, healthy cause.
70%.
Yeah. And the other beauty of it too is that most of the donations made to our programs are tax deductible, because if your PTA or PTO is the client, they're typically a 501c3. So any donation made is a tax deduction. Whereas if you're buying cookie or candy bars, that's not the case.
Wow. So let's talk about, you mentioned earlier some schools that have done gangbusters. Talk about who is kind of an ideal fit for what you guys are doing. And then also talk about what some of these schools that are creating incredible numbers find out what those guys are doing as well.
Yeah, so really the ideal person for Apex Fun Run from a franchisee perspective is someone who really does connect with it from a passion perspective. It's someone who wants to have a business that they can feel good about, where they're giving back to their community, helping build leaders, and making a living at the same time. And it's kind of a personality business. You know, if you're somebody who's a good networker, who's very social, who, you know, is maybe a sales type of a person, it's great because you're not selling a widget, you're providing a solution to their fundraising needs. And everyone has their why as to why Apex Fun Run is right for them, and doesn't have to be the same for everyone, but that's part of what they incorporate into sort of their conversation with people on providing our solution for their fundraising needs. Now, in terms of our ideal candidate for fundraising organizations, it's really anyone, because of the fact that we've created the programs that allow our franchisees to serve every school, every organization, every nonprofit out there. But the difference in terms of fundraising and success is really the level of engagement. You know, we provide a great program with great solutions, great technologies, great best practices, things like that. But if the people involved don't want to be part of it, they're not going to have the same level of success. But, you know, at this point, we've got about 100 franchises in 28 states, and we've raised over $40 million for schools and teams and organizations. And just in the last 30 days alone, we raised over $6 million. So we've been just breaking records all over the place. And as I told Matt, our last session ended last Thursday. And in that session alone, we had 4 different schools that individually raised over $100,000 with our program. It's been crazy. I mean, we've got a school in your neck of the woods in Texas there in Austin that last year they raised $160,000. This year I think they dropped and only raised about $135,000. So feeling pretty bad for them. But yeah, we've got schools all over America that do that. We've got middle schools that are raising $75,000. We've got sports teams. We had a soccer team, a club team in LA that did a juggle-a-thon where they got pledges per juggle, which I guess is where they bounce the ball between their knees and their feet. I'm a football, basketball guy, not soccer, but they raised $60,000 recently. And so it's just numbers that are crazy that these teams and schools have never seen before. I mean, even close to home, I've got 3 sons. My middle son, club basketball player, his basketball team did a free throw-a-thon, getting pledges per made free throw. They raised $23,000 for their basketball team. They'd never raised more than hundreds or thousands before by selling, you know, entertainment books and coupon books and car washes, the usual stuff. They didn't raise anything, but with our technology, they had a really fun event and raised a ton of money. And the difference, as I said, is really the engagement. I mean, we've got schools. The school in Austin that raised all that money only has like 700 students. It's not like it's some enormous school. They just have a really active PTO, a really supportive parent group, and they utilized our technology. You know, those people who really get it and understand it and embrace it do the best. We encourage kids to really just try, just do your best, obviously part of our lessons this year. And so we reward them just for making an effort. So if they utilize our Share Wizard technology and share just 10 times, they get a share prize just for effort, because our statistics have shown that if you share 10 times or with 10 people, you're going to typically get 2 or 3 pledges. And that's awesome. And so those people who really get it, who then send out the emails and the text messages and the Facebook and the Twitter messages, they are the ones who raise the most money by utilizing the technology instead of just, you know, again, hitting up your local people. But those that are also entrepreneurial really get it too, because this is a great opportunity to go to your local Ace Hardware store or grocery store or small businesses. And they're looking to support the community as well. And they love supporting something that is activity-based, that is healthy, that is teaching leadership and fitness, that's making their community a better place and building leaders in their schools. And so those that really take our lead and follow our systems and know that we're experts are the ones that really do the best.
Wow. Love it, love it, love it. Anything else you want to leave with the audience, Jeremy, about your program that we haven't touched on already?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you've got questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I mean, we've got available territories, most of the Midwest and East Coast. A lot of the West Coast is sold out, but it's a really fun, rewarding business. And even if you're not looking for a business, but you're looking to raise money for your schools or your teams or your local church or children's hospital, reach out to us. We're here to help. We've got great programs. We've never had anyone that utilized our program that didn't absolutely love it. I mean, our schools and teams rebook year after year after year because it's just such a great program and so much fun, and they get results they can't get anywhere else. So, don't hesitate to reach out. You can go to our website, apexfunrun.com, get information there. Anython.com is our site for our clubs and sports teams. And don't hesitate to reach out, and we can help you or your school, or maybe even have a business you never thought you could have before.
Jeremy Barnhart, thanks a lot for joining us in the School Zone. For those of you that want to get more information, you can go to schoolzonepodcast.com and check out this episode. Also, Jeremy and his company have partnered with us for the Best School Fundraising and Resource Companies Guide for 2018. That guide will be available mid-January of 2018. And there'll be lots more information about Apex, et cetera, in that guide as well. You'll be able to go to schoolzonepodcast.com to download that for free and to get access to that information also. Finally, if you're a YouTube watcher, feel free to check out Apex's interview on YouTube as well. Both Jeremy and I cleaned up for and got dressed up for our interview today. And so anyway, lots of touch points where you can learn more about them and what they do. Jeremy, thanks for joining us, man. I love talking to you and hearing all the innovation and all the stuff that you guys are doing every time we get a chance to chat.
Well, thanks for having me, Matt. It was great catching up with you as well.
Most definitely. Have a good one, man.
You too.